Hello and welcome to another edition of my Become Unstoppable series. I know I'm excited every week, but I'm really excited today because I've got a special guest by the name of Darren today. Now, Darren has undergone brain injury when he was just a small little child, and he has basically, well, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but he's grown his brain. I don't know, it just blows my mind, right? So bear with me, guys. I'm so excited to bring this. There you go. What lovely Cheshire Drills they are too.
Can't even think where they are.
I love that. Welcome, Darren, to my Become Unstoppable series.
Thank you.
How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got a few people online at the moment, and hopefully some more will join us. So welcome everybody who's joined us and anyone that watches this video. My name is Julie Fitzpatrick, and I'm the founder of Middleside Therapy and Coaching. And I basically support male, female, entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals to unlock their confidence so that they can become unstoppable. I work with people using hypnosis, and we uncover the root cause of your issues, and we can basically have phenomenal results in just 30 days. So check me out and watch all my videos and testimonials, and if you're interested in working with me, come and see me. So Darren, thank you for coming. Would you like just to introduce yourself and just tell everybody, no, actually just introduce yourself first, because I don't want you to launch into your story. So just give everyone a little bit of an idea about who you are.
Okay. My name's Darren Jewel. I'm 54 years old, and I had a serious brain injury when I was 15 months old. So I'd like to thank Julie for inviting me to come in and talk. Here and talk.
It's amazing. And I was given Darren's details actually by a friend of mine in my business circle. So thank you, Anna, for that, because I was looking for people to come on my Instagram series, and it is all about mental health. It is all about finding out who's unstoppable. And she was telling me about Darren, and I was like, I need to get him on. I need to get him on quick. Now, I'm going to let everybody hear your story in a moment. But please watch this through, because I'm sure it's going to be really, really inspirational. And I know the story, and pardon the pun, it blows my mind. So stay tuned and find out what happened to Darren. So Darren, like you said, when you was 15 months old, tell everybody what happened.
Okay. So I was 15 months old, so things were a lot different. There was I crawled out the back door, and there was a spiral staircase, and there was it was a block of flats, two floors above, and the spiral staircase. So I crawled up the spiral staircase, and 50 years ago, bars on these spiral staircases and on balconies did not have to be cut width like they are now. And yeah, my mum turned her back for like a second or two, and everyone knows how quick babies are. I crawled out the back door, crawled up this spiral staircase, and she heard a thud, and I'd come down on my head, and I got rushed into hospital, and I was in a coma for about 3 weeks because my head swelled up like to twice the size. My dad described me as a mecon, which was something that was a space thing from like the 1960s. So so I was in a coma for about three weeks, and 50 years ago things were a bit different, and you didn't have MRI scans, and all my parents were told was that I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't be able to get a good job because my brain would not be able to retain information.
Did
So
they say whether you was going to be able to walk and things like that, or did they get told you wouldn't even do that?
um, uh, um, they've not said. My parents haven't said that. They were told that, but I don't know if everybody knows. Some people might not know that the left side of your brain operates the right side of your body, and vice versa. So I damaged the left side of my brain, which basically weakened the whole of my right side of my body. It even affected the right side of my my eyes. So they have a special optician has said it's affected a little bit in the left eye, but on the in the right eye, it's like I can't see. I probably can't see about 40% of my vision. On my left side, I could see like my arm when it's out straight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the right side, I just move my arm closer and closer, and it's like about it's probably about 45 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So getting back to the hospital, then you were in a coma. Then what happened next? What was your next few years like?
So growing up, I probably broke uh, loads of bones. I broke my leg, broke my arm, broke my wrist twice. But if I had an accident which someone else would like maybe fall over, and then get up, I would fall over and I would break a bone. Bit like brittle bone illness.
Yeah.
But I so you're saying like about would I be able to walk again? That was fine. I used to do everything. I could catch a ball with my left hand. I would not raise my right hand up to catch the ball. So my dad didn't wasn't told this. He just did it. He tied my hands together by the wrists. So when I went to catch a ball, when I raised my left hand, my right hand went up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was giving me the exercise that I needed, and then I think when I got to about 12 years old, I had a little pair of dumbbells, and I was lifting them up to strengthen my arm, because I also held my my right arm funny, so I used to have it raised, so people used to think, oh, what's the matter with him? But nobody knew my story. So
so inadvertently your brain was learning how to move your right arm when you were, so you was already reprogramming your mind there.
Yeah.
So then what happened? Bring the story along for us. What was your rough childhood like with your injuries?
My childhood, I suppose, like junior school was pretty good, but then when I went junior school was pretty good. I can't think of a time where I felt like I was bullied. But then when I went to secondary school, I felt like my whole time, like for at least 4.5 years, I felt like I was bullied, because I would just let people hit me and not retaliate. there is a reason for that, but that was because I had my right hand, my left hand, because it was used so much, it was quite strong. It was stronger than probably other kids my age. So if I hit something, and I think this is why junior school was okay, because I did fight back when I was bullied. But then when I went to secondary school, I didn't, because by that time I realised how strong my left hand was. So I just got, for the whole like 4.5 years, I was picked on until one day I just sat next to supposedly the strongest guy in the school, and he kept hitting me on my arm, but luckily it was on my left arm. And when I tell people this story, it's a little bit like the film Rocky, where he's going, come on, hit me harder, because that's what I said to this guy. I said, if that's the best you can do, leave me alone. And in the end, he walked out the class and told everybody, because this happened in a class, that's how weak the teacher was. Yeah. He said, just leave Darren alone, because if I can't hurt him, you can't hurt him. So for the rest of my time at school, I was fine. And everybody has told me, why didn't I do that in the first year? If I didn't want to retaliate, just say, well, just, like, come on, just hit me harder. And yeah, it was fine. Yeah.
Okay. So during school then, you were at a standard school, was you? It wasn't for special needs or anything like that? You were
normal
like
school.
Normal school. I don't know what the right terminology for that is, but yeah, normal school.
Just like standard, secondary school. Yeah.
So you went through your education. So was you in top sets, or was you struggling at school with your academic side, or?
No, I was in the like, there was an upper band and a lower band. I was in the lower band, but and I was told that in that band, the highest you could get was the highest I could get was a grade 3 CSE. So that's how long ago it was.
CSE. That's same here. We're the same age.
Yeah.
CSE,
So
yeah.
and I had one teacher say to me, actually, Darren, you're one person who could actually you could actually do an O-level and pass it in maths. But because you're in this class, the highest you can get is a grade 3 CSE. So that I think is a little bit was a little bit unfair, but
I think that's now, and it's still the same now. Okay, so you've gone through your education relatively okay. Yes, you obviously were being quashed with your academic abilities there. So then what happened after school? What was, when when we were at school, I don't know if they do it now, or they have careers people come in. What sort of careers did they say that you could do?
Quite a lot of it was quite a lot of the jobs were actually office based. Quite a lot of the jobs were office based, and I think one job they said was work behind a bar, which was but none of them is actually what I ended up doing. So
talk us through some of the jobs that you did. I want to get to the point, because I want to keep them in suspense a little bit. But bearing in don't share the story with everyone yet, but just for my benefit, what age was it that you had your brain scan?
I was actually in my 30s when I had my first brain scan.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're not there yet. No. So carry on then. So you've left school. I left
school. I left school, and remember I was told that my brain would not retain information, so I didn't I wasn't sure what. And I ended up before I left school, I got a job in a Saturday job in a Pizza Hut. Yeah, and I decided that I would go to catering college and train to be a chef. So I did that, and I passed, and I eventually went on to do some. I did stay in the Pizza Hut for quite a long time. And then someone gave me the opportunity to go and work in a restaurant that was just like amazing. It gave me such more experience at cooking. Well, I thought cooking a pizza for like a load of people, that's quite easy, but cooking food for 1,000 people or 1,500 people is like just a different level.
Completely.
And
Yes.
yeah,
And
so
for
I ended up doing
remember who can't retain information.
Yeah.
And it hasn't got full functioning of your arms.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to have like quite movement in both arms and legs to work in catering. Otherwise, it's yeah. So I did it, and yeah, then so I've been in catering for at least 16 years. Yeah, and then when I got my last job, which I actually held for 19 years, after a while, I started to fall over, and I was feeling like really weak, but like in both arms. So I went to see my GP, and he decided to send me for my first MRI scan, but it was also my head and down to my lower back. So so I found out in my early 30s that I had pressure on my spine in two places. In my lower back, that's what was causing my legs to give out and I'd fall over. In my neck, which caused trapped nerves and that. But the amazing thing is I found out that a third of my brain was actually dead, and it'd been dead since the accident. So I'd gone through 30 years not knowing that. I knew there was some damage. I knew it'd be a bit silly not thinking there was some damage, but to find out a third of my brain was actually dead was like I think you said earlier on, mind blowing. Yeah, mind blowing. It was mind blowing to see that. But
so you're at the hospital or the GP or whatever, and they've shown you your scan.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see that a third of it is a different colour.
When you have an MRI scan, if there's any brain damage, if there's any brain damage, it appears like a white cloud. So I see this white cloud, and I said to this neurologist, "What's that?" And he goes, "Well, that's where your brain's dead." And I went, "But that's a third of my brain." And he goes, "Darren, you've been without it for 30 years. You've done okay. So why worry?" So I didn't worry. So I just thought, okay, yeah, well, if he says that. But in the back of your mind, you think, well, what happens if I had that accident on the other side? If later on in life, I had a minor stroke, which kills a part of your brain on that side, where would I be? So I was worried about that. Of course. Yeah. So
let's just stop for a moment here, just to regroup. Okay. So,
Yeah.
like you say, for almost 30 years, you've been flourishing and doing amazing through determination from yourself, and also some good coaching as well from your parents, I have to add, because encouraging you to do stuff and not become a victim of what's happened to you. So at the age of 30, you've already had one career in catering, which you've been very successful at, and you're delivering over 30 dishes a day, right?
Yeah.
So then what happened?
So, I got, I also retrained as a plumber, but I stayed in catering. So, but I like to learn. So, and then in 2020, everyone's world changed. I got put on furlough, and I eventually got made redundant. But because I'd worked there for so long, I was okay. I got I didn't have to worry about going out getting any job. So I was applying for jobs, and in between that, I would do online courses. Yeah, and then remember during lockdown we couldn't do nothing, so I did I think about 50 plus online courses. Some were a bit longer than others. Some were about a couple of hours. Some were 40 hours. I did a computer language, JavaScript, which how many people can actually say they know that? So
I come from a background, right, and I work with many a developer, and I know that is a skill within itself.
Yeah.
Right. People just have that skill and then have one skill. Most people have 1, 2, maybe 3 careers in their whole life, right? You've already been a successful chef.
Yeah.
You've qualified plumber.
Yeah.
Now you've done
website design and a computer programming language. Yeah. So I was proud about that. And then I did some other courses. Some were a bit say coaching. It was coaching on how to happiness, and how to wake up in the morning, and things to do to wake up in the morning. Set your alarm to a song that will make you jump up and say, right, I'm ready to go. And loads more courses on emotion and brain. I did one on brain psychology, which touched on this subject called neuroplasticity. But I'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I did these 50 plus courses, and then in 2021, my neurologist, who I'd had for about 10 years, she was leaving, so she wanted the new guy who was taking over to have an up-to-date scan of my brain and my back. So I got asked to go to the National Neurology and Neurosurgery Hospital in London to have the MRI scan. So I did that. That was in July. And then in December of the same year, I got asked to go and see a neurologist, and not a neurologist, a neurosurgeon that I'd never seen before. And I thought, there's no way I'm having brain surgery. There's no way, right? So I go there and I think, what are they going to do? So he puts up this MRI scan, and I thought it wasn't mine. There was no white cloud. There was no visible damage to my brain. And my dad was there as well, and he goes, "That's not his brain. I've seen his brain. A third of it's dead." And the neurosurgeon goes, this is the interest. He goes, this is really interesting. Yeah. He said there is still some. He had to zoom in to find it. Yeah. And it was about the size of a 5-pence piece. Yeah. And he said, what you've done is you've all the studying you've done, where like instead of working 40 hours a week, you're studying over 40 hours a week on so many different subjects. You've stimulated blood vessels in your brain and pumped blood to the dead part of your brain, and brought it back to life again.
Wow.
Yeah. Neuroplasticity. That's what it's called. I think the one of the scientific words is neuroplasticity. Some people are like rewiring the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this neurosurgeon had said that in 35 plus years as a neurosurgeon, he has only seen this at this scale 3 times in 35 years.
Wow.
And that is more, seeing that MRI scan was more mind blowing than seeing my brain with third of it like dead.
That is so amazing. And when I heard Darren's story, I was like, I know we keep saying this, but it literally does blow your mind, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And one of the what I love about this is that you didn't really realise you were doing it, right?
No,
you just you just had something in you that just said, you know what, I'm bored now. I'm going to do something else. I just want to suck information up. But unbeknown to you, in your brain, it's going sending all this power around your head and growing it.
Yeah.
And I find this story absolutely stunning, and thankfully Darren is already starting to speak on stages around this, but he's now going to go and get some training in it as well, because I think this is such an amazing story, so inspirational, because this very much links into what I do with my clients. I work with the subconscious brain, definitely working with neuroplasticity. So if we think about, we hear the word mindset, we've had that always, my mindset on that, mindset. Because back in the day, when there wasn't the technology like there is today, people thought that whatever was going on in your mind, it was set. That's where the saying mindset came from. But actually, we know that's not true, because, well, you've proved it anyway, but we knew that before from all the scans and that we can see now, where your brain is just, like you said, rewiring.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what it does. So I know that, and I've been learning that. But to hear it firsthand from you, it's so thrilling to hear that, because I can use you now when I talk to my clients when they can't be bothered to do the process that I'm going to set them. And I go, well, do you want to rewire your brain then? Because this is what I do, right? I work with my clients with their subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So say, for example, they're suffering from lack of confidence, self-belief, or anxiety or something like that. Through hypnosis, which is just a deep meditational state, we take people back to a time when anxiety first become an issue for them, right? And normally it's through childhood, between the ages of 0 and 7, because that's when we create our belief system. Then what we do is we uncover the root cause, the root beliefs of their anxiety or whatever it is that their symptoms are. And once we get that, we get rid of it, doing different processes, working with the brain in that session, right? But the second part of it is what I call so that's the rewire part. We're rewiring. But then we have this next phase, which is the permanence part. So what I do is give them a recording. Now in that recording, it'll be all amazing stuff around work that I would have already asked them before. What would their life be like if they didn't have the anxiety or whatever it was? And we put all that in there. But then I would build it up with basically amazing affirmations, but basic beliefs about themselves, because they're going to reprogram themselves. They are rewiring, they're rebooting, and they're reprogramming. And that's how I see it. Just that in your brain, it's firing, and you've got all these little firing neurons going away, and it's embedding these new powerful beliefs, so that it just becomes normal. And that's exactly what you've done with bells on, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like when this course touched on this neuroplasticity, I actually thought, at 52 years old, is that going to happen to me? Nah, probably not. And 6 months later, I got told that's what's happened. And I do feel different. I feel more confident. Sometimes, like I used to struggle to find find the word, a bit like a stutter, but I just had to think what the word was. But now I don't notice that. Maybe I do it, but I don't notice. I feel a lot. I feel a lot different. I'm not going to say normal, because
what's normal anyway, right? Who's normal?
I'm not going to say normal, but I just I feel like the whole my whole thing for going in, doing my first talk, to and it was to my old school, was to target, if that's the right word, target the person who felt like me at school. And if I could make one person in that school feel a little bit more positive from me going in there and telling my story, which then I ended up doing 4 assemblies. So each year, I didn't do the 5th year because they were doing their exams. And a couple of weeks later, somebody joined a Facebook group that I'm on, where I had posted my story, because it was a local group. This parent found me and said, "Are you the guy that went into the school and spoke to the kids?" So I went, "Yeah." And she went, "I'd just like to thank you, because my daughter has come home, told me your story, and she has now said, if I work hard enough, I can do whatever I want to do, if I work hard enough." And that's the whole, my whole thing is, you've got to try and learn something on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Maybe if it's once a year, learn something different. Maybe learn a language, or learn to play golf or something like that. Just something to
get your brain
stimulate your brain, because it's a muscle.
It is exactly right, and this is what I tell my clients as well. If you it is a gradual process, but if you keep learning, it's about finding what you want to learn about, isn't it? Finding something that really, really interests you. I think that's the problem sometimes at school now. It's so academic, and if you're not an academic, then you get left behind, right? Then you get put in the lower classes, because people think that you're intelligent. You're absolutely intelligent, but that style of learning just doesn't work for you, right? So that's another story, isn't it? That needs all to change. But I think what's really important from your message, well, there's many things important from your message, but one of the ones is that like you say, your brain is a muscle, and it can change the way things are. You don't have to settle for who you are if you don't like who you are, right? If you're suffering from lack of confidence, self-belief, anxiety, anything like that, you don't have to live with it, because it can all be changed. It's all part of reboot and changing your neuro pathway.
So can I just quickly say this quickly, that So that was my goal of going in and targeting the person who was like me at school, who didn't think they were going to do very good. That was during the mental health week. I did 2 assemblies, and then I did 2 more assemblies the following week. And in that time, I had more time to do a little bit more research. And I'd actually gone in, into there and said, right, okay, my goal was to target the person who felt like this. Yeah. Now it's different. Now I'm also targeting the smartest person in this school, in this year. Yeah. I'm targeting the smartest person in this year, because your brain is actually more powerful than the biggest computer in the world, because that at some point is going to have a new hard drive, a bigger hard drive put onto it. You can't do that with your brain. The information in your brain is infinite, if that's the right word. Yeah. It is infinity. Yeah. You can, these people, like, you know, like, let's say, the eggheads, their information in their brain is just unbelievable. Yeah. So, yeah, it was to then say that the smartest person can do better.
I love that.
So,
yeah. Don't get content just because you're top of your class or top of your year.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you stop taking the pressure off, you're soon going to drop, and all those other people are going to take over, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that. And I think for younger people in particular, it is about understanding that this, you know, you can push yourself, you can do whatever it's push yourself to that next level. We can all just be average, we can all just plod, but you get what you put in life, right? You get out what you put in. So if you're not willing to change, you're not willing to take action, then guess what? You're not going to get any results.
Yeah.
And I was at an event yesterday, and I've got his book here actually. Kevin Caskell. He did just knocked my books off. He is an amazing man. He's very inspirational, and he pushed himself his whole life doing such amazing things. And that's he doesn't care. He just goes, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and do it. Row across the Atlantic. He's just decided that's what he's going to do, and he's done that once. Now I think he's going to do the Pacific or something, just because why not, right? And he's in his 60s now, and I think people should listen to podcasts. People should see inspirational people and just see what is available, and it's available to everybody. And if they think it isn't, that's just a mindset shift, isn't it? That you have to believe. And we've got so many people saying amazing things on here, but you are so inspirational, and that's why I was so excited when I heard about you. And I was like, when we first spoke, I was like, oh my God, this is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you have to get out and share the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I joined this local Facebook group, and somebody put a message and asked if she could post something. So I thought I'd do the same, you know, because I thought I'd because I got told last year, that by the DWP that I was unfit to work in a traditional job, so I couldn't get a job. I was already told by my GP that I can't get a job in catering because of the falling over. I could sit on a till, but I couldn't get a job of standing up. And then DWP asked me to have a physio, and because of the pressure on my spine, they've said, actually, you're like unfit to work, but you can start up your own business. So that's like why I've decided, like, since December, after doing I had a little table at a work and health program, and I was making things, and then I had to get up and do my first like talk. It was a speech, like, and they asked me to tell my story, and I've told my story like I've told it here. And I've had people like I had DWP, I had people from the job centre, people from the head office of the work and health program, all come up to me and say, your story is so inspirational. You are just so inspiring. And I've had that like over the years, like a little bit. But then look, for the last year or year and a half, you know, I've had more and more people say it. So I just think that maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
I think so.
Yeah,
And we were talking
yeah,
about this a little bit before, weren't we? And I said, you so have to, you are so humble. And you were saying to me, weren't you, like, well, you know, I don't see myself really as being different. And it's like, I love the fact that you don't see yourself as being different, but trust me, you are different. There's not many people that have been through what you've been through, and there's not many people that even without a brain injury won't have done or never will do a fraction of what you've achieved in your life. And also, I wanted to point out as well that imagine how maybe a parent or a family member who's got someone in hospital who has been told that there's not much they can do.
yeah.
To hear your story, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know there's going to be different things, it's not as clear cut as that, but to give people like that inspiration to not give up and to know that there is hope.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. I just get yourself out there and share your story, and just change some more lives, because like you say, by people hearing you, you will inspire people, and that will transform people's lives. So let's hope many people will see this eventually, because it will go up on my YouTube channel as well.
Right.
And I just want to touch before we go, actually, you do actually have another little sideline of your business, don't you, with your candles? Do you want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah, so I did get a job at the start of 2022, and it actually didn't. I applied for it, and I only applied for it because I hadn't applied for the amount of jobs that I wanted to apply for each week, and it was in a Greggs, and it was like being a chef, like sticking stuff in ovens. And eventually, I knew it would happen. I would start falling over, so I fell over, and I just quit. Yeah, and a couple of days later, I was travelling across London to Bexley, and I did a candle making course, but it was a one-to-one course, and they talked about business. And I think because of like the so many different scents you can use, it's a little bit like catering. It was giving me the smells that I was used to, and so I started to
options.
and so I started. So I did that, and then after a little while, I thought, okay, everyone who sells candles are they're buying glasses from like suppliers. Then they're all the same glasses. So I thought I'd start. Uh, uh, when I say messing around, because I'd never used it before. I'd never used resin, and it's having like two liquids. One's like resin and one's like a hardener, and it's making the right mix so it doesn't like go all messy, and it goes like really hard, and I can make like candle containers so a little bit different, and I can make them colorful. I can make them how somebody wants. If somebody wants like multicolored or like one color or bit of glitter in it, I could do that. And then I started making other things with resin. I've made like this hand, and it's like a holder where you can put like trinkets in, and that is at the moment, that is like everybody who sees that, they actually love, like they love the look of it, but then when they actually get it in their hands and they feel it, it's like they just it's
side of it.
yeah, they really yeah, I've had somebody say to me, could you, could the hand, could she goes, this is really weird, but I've got my parents' ashes, could you mix a little bit of the ash into the hand? I'd not done it, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And I said, I only want a little bit. You only want a little bit, like about a teaspoon or a tablespoon. And I mixed it in, and she actually like loved it. And she said, I want one for my brother as well. So, you know, and she said, I can have that on my on my um on my cabinet, and I think about my mum and dad every time I see them, and
you know what? Then
like that's beautiful.
We're gonna have another conversation about that then, because I've got my loofah's ashes that I need to do something with. So maybe you can do something with me with those.
Yeah, if you want, you know, whatever you want, yeah.
Anyway, my darling, we need to finish now because we have been nearly over 45 minutes now. But listen,
amazing.
So much coming on, and I hope everyone's enjoyed this.
I'd just like to say thank you for inviting me, because it's mind blowing again when I see these. I've only noticed these comments, so hopefully I can scroll back and see the comments, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
The feedback I get from telling my story is if it helps me, if it helps one person who's listening, again, one person, if it helps one person, then I can like say, well, okay, I've done a good job.
Yeah, exactly, you have. And everyone's saying on here, thank you to both of us actually for enjoying it, for putting it on for them. And I love doing these. I'm not a professional in this, as you probably noticed. I don't even know how I started it, actually. It's just one of those things that kind of happened, and it's just starting to evolve. But what a beautiful platform to get people on to talk about mental health and to share stories and, you know, to get other people visibility as well as myself, right? So it's a win-win, isn't it? I enjoy doing them. I hope people like watching them. They're going to go on YouTube next, because I've got my Millicide Therapy and Coaching YouTube channel up and running now. So please go and look at that. But all of these are going to go up there as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And if anyone's interested in becoming unstoppable and coming and work with me, then just DM me, message me, do whatever you need to do to get hold of me. And I can help you to become unstoppable in 30 days. I don't need to help you, my lovely, because you're doing that all by yourself. And you are smashing it out of the park.
All right. Thank you so much.
Everyone. Have a brilliant rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.